Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, die-in time is here. That's right. We're talking about Crimson Peak on Kill by Kill. Well, greetings and salutations, Internet. It is your old pal, Patrick Hamilton, coming to you once again from Allerdale Hall. This is the Kill by Kill podcast, where we're dedicated to celebrating the least discussed component of any horror film, the characters. And we're going to unpack all the goriest of details of 2015's Crimson Peak in the hopes that a young, just married lady's untimely end is just the beginning of the jokes we might make at their expense. And as always, there's only one person I trust to explain to me what the fuck a baronet is. The one, the only, Gena Radcliffe. How are you doing today, Gena?
I just want to know that for this occasion, I have brought out my Crimson Peak Was Good t-shirt, which I purchased some years ago from Super Yaki. I am unsure if it is still available, but I am happy. I'm delighted to say that out of my extensive t-shirt collection, no other shirt has gotten more comments than that one.
And what are the comments primarily, you're damn right?
Yes,
or is
it is.
Why that one?
Enthusiastically agreeing that Crimson Peak was good.
Yes, it really is good. It is good on multiple levels. But I also don't feel like it's a movie that has to be defended.
No.
But I do feel like it is undersung, perhaps, is maybe its greatest difficulty at this moment in time. Not enough people are singing its praises simply because at this point, Del Toro has so many more high-profile features under his belt.
Well, it was also, and we'll get into this, I'm sure, very much a victim of bad marketing. Yeah,
for sure. For sure. I mean, listen, I love Red Right Hand in many circumstances, but it is very closely tied to two things, the X-Files and Scream, and I wouldn't say either are A/B tested next to Crimson Peak as a marketing device. But we will get into it. I don't really want to scare you, Gena, but the thing is, we're not alone. That's right. We have a special guest. Now, you may know her as a premier interior designer, a fantastic recording artist with her group, The Lake Sirens, or even for her acting work. That's right. She was a scream queen in movies like I fucked that up. Acting work in films like Attic Expeditions and The Thirst. But I will always know her as the person I have consumed the most Miller Lite with than any other woman on earth. The one, the only, Shannon Ggem. How are you doing today, Shannon?
Oh, heck yeah. That's the best introduction of all time. I forgot about my buckets and buckets and buckets of Miller Lite.
You're not that person anymore, but once upon a time, and neither am I, once upon a time, we put Miller Lights to bed.
We surely did. And we carved pumpkins on top of that with Miller Lights, and we did home karaoke.
Oh, yes, we did.
I have karaoke'd with your illustrious host. I will tell you this right now. He is a wonderful karaoke artist. Incredible.
I am a stylist. I can do certain songs that don't sound like so much great singing, but are distinctive, and I can mimic that distinction. But I don't know that I can really carry a tune the way that you can carry a tune.
Yep, carry a tune I can. I'm sitting here in huge relief that Gena has a t-shirt about it, because I was like, is the whole world spoiled freaking rotten that they think this is slow? Oh, I'm going to cry. I don't like the movie. What? This is the most gorgeous, unbelievable, stylish, incredibly well-told story. It just, I love it so much, and I can't wait to dig into it with you. And I was so excited to be able to talk about a movie with a house.
Yes. Well, I think that was one of, when you reached out and we were yakking about what you could possibly do, I really wanted to feature something that, had a grand house to it. And I'm very glad you chose this rather than Ghost Story, because the house in Ghost Story doesn't even come close to the design work, the level of intricacy and precise design intention that every single hallway and room offer of Allerdale Hall. I think this is just one of the best movie houses of all time. And a history of film work that design work is often pointed to as, man, this guy's got an eye. This is my favorite. It's my favorite designed Guillermo Del Toro movie, but it is also simply my favorite Guillermo Del Toro movie. I think this is the best.
Yeah, this is up there for me. And I think it's also fascinating that nobody in this movie has looked as good in any other movie as they do here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a stunningly attractive cast.
And they're not always presented the most attractive ways, and yet they still glow and shine from within the motion picture. They just have this sort of, I often compare this movie to Hitchcock's Rebecca. It's got the same sort of thing where everyone just has a glow from within on the frame, and it just feels rich in text.
Like when you have this reveal, this like incest twist, you have like a real like kombucha girl reaction to it, where you're like, they're like, oh, you know, like. I mean, obviously they're not brother and sister in real life, but I'm like, I don't hate this.
I could see a little more of that scene. I mean, honestly. And there's also this feeling of, I want a dolly with long, long blonde hair and huge puff sleeves and a high neck. I mean, it is like looking at something that is not even real. And it is true that, I mean, she's absolutely gorgeous, but in other movies, she can be depicted in all different ways. And that was it is stunning to see how these actors look in this movie. They are all super gorgeous, which isn't always his choice in his casting and the way he presents the cast. So it was really,
I think you, Patrick and I, we've talked Frankenstein about, how you're kind of hit or miss with Del Toro, and that, there are a lot of similarities in tone and style between this and Frankenstein. But I would also say there's a lot of similarities for me at least, in Nightmare Alley.
Sure.
And then like just everybody just looks so fucking good. Yeah. It's just like I don't know what it is, but like, I mean, obviously they're all already attractive people, but they're just like, man, like Bradley Cooper, I never really thought much of him either way, as far as his looks go. But in Nightmare Alley, I'm like, all right, I get it now. Yes, I see. I'm here for Bradley Cooper.
I just needed Del Toro to film him before I could understand how truly
exactly.
hunky he was.
And Cate Blanchett. I mean, my God.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's not really, everyone looks good in a Del Toro movie. It's whether or not the movie meets that expectation, I suppose. And I'm also a big Nightmare Alley fan. I genuinely like that film. But there's just something about this. And I think it has to do with a level of simplicity. This is not a complex movie in terms of its plot, right? It's a young, naive woman is swept off her feet by a handsome man and taken to a far-off land where it seems like everything is just going to work out. And then you notice that it's all crumbling from within. Nothing you thought was going to happen is happening. And slowly but surely, you learn that he's sleeping with his sister, and also he's going to kill you and put you in a clay pot factory.
And also the ground looks like it's bleeding.
Yes. Yeah. Which it kind of should be, regardless of whether or not the mines are seeping up through the bottom of the floors. At what point it's like, oh, the ghost is a metaphor. Like, what? Really? Not in a Del Toro movie. Ghosts are not metaphors. Yeah. Ghosts have roles.
Doug Jones would beg to differ.
That's right. And in here, I think as much as I love a Del Toro monster, I am personally a bigger fan of his ghosts. I like the consistency of how they are presented. I think it is a very distinct point of view that his ghosts look and act a certain way, and they just they get me from beyond the grave.
Well, they're basically tortured souls.
Yeah.
They've died under violent, untimely circumstances, and they're trapped in this house forever.
And there's a tactile quality to a lot of the stuff we see on screen, even though there's plenty of CGI here. Everything feels just a little bit more real, and that's a Del Toro specialty. But we do have somebody with us who has experienced doing special effects makeup in person, and that is one Shannon Ggem. Shannon, How much does it suck to do special effects makeup on camera?
Do you know what is so sad about this? First of all, I got to play the best role, the role of a lifetime, a dead bride. I mean, you just want to do that. If you're in horror films, you want to be the dead bride because that is just a classic, iconic, unbelievable thing to be able to play. So
True.
It was a experience because I didn't often get to be the monster. I got to be bloody and things and murdered and whatnot. And I also got to murder, which was satisfying. But to be the dead bride, no one sits with you at lunch, you guys. Because you look weird and you're off-putting. So if it's done well, you definitely have put everyone off and they don't want to see you. So these are masterful and these special effects are so incredible. And I love the way they move. I mean, specifically, I love the way they move. I just think that style of movement is so Del Toro, and I think it's so special and it looks incredible. And I love how they elicit empathy somehow. Oh my God.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Why am I sitting there when there's a scary thing in a bathtub going, oh no, I feel so bad for her. She had a hatchet. But yeah, no one sits with you at lunch and you are fairly uncomfortable, but it's really, really fun to see it back. Oh my God. It's so fun. It's so fun.
I think it has to feel somewhat freeing to transform in that way, not just to say someone else's lines and have your image captured on film, but to evoke a character that's both real and unreal at the same time. That's got to be a fun element of why you get into the entertainment business.
Oh, it definitely kicks ass because so Dead Bride Day, I was well and truly forgotten because you're a bit of, are you a set? Are you a prop? Are you something from the production department? You're not one of the actors in like the group of actors that are chitty chatting.
Right.
You are something else. And so you're definitely a fly on the wall. And that, when you're young and hot and being an actress, that you don't always get to be a fly on the wall. So that is fun as hell. It really, really is.
Excellent. Yes. There's elements here that are so classical that they must have thrown Universal for a bit of a loop, is my guess. Because obviously a lot of studios in Hollywood have wanted to be in the Guillermo Del Toro business, but they haven't always found the best way to utilize him or to trust what he brings to the table. And what I feel most in Crimson Peak is a very distillation feeling where Guillermo Del Toro has really worked out this idea of what his version of this movie is, and we get exactly that. It does not feel noted to death. It does not feel, with the exception of that cold open where you see Mia Wachowski as, towards the end of the film, almost like, we're going to get to this point. That's the only part that feels kind of like we have to remind people that blood will flow in this movie. Everything else feels like a very well-structured, well-told classic tale. Yeah,
I think the problem that, I mentioned earlier about this movie being mismarketed is I think people, there's a little bit of an issue in horror movies sometimes where it's you've got your chocolate and my peanut butter. You got your peanut butter and my chocolate, where people don't always like mixing horror with romance.
Right.
I think the exception to that is if it involves vampires.
Of course.
And then, people are fine with that. But this is, about 50% of romance.
Yes. And a gothic romance.
Right. And I think that the marketing really, really, really underplayed that.
Yeah. I mean, you have to figure, like, they're releasing this movie at the same, they're competing in the marketplace of ideas of like Captain America Civil War. This is a very unique, distinct type of film that isn't being produced all the time. So it should stand out, but also making the kids want to see it, I don't know, is the goal you should ever set for yourself necessarily with Crimson Peak. Although I would show this to my teenager in a New York minute, because I think he would be genuinely interested by how everything is presented. It is so good to look at that you're sort of lulled into its rhythms, is how I feel about it.
I do think that if this had come out now, it would probably do a little bit better, because I think the 2010s, we were kind of pretty static as far as what kind of movies we were going out to see in the theaters. And I think certainly right now, as we record this, one of the top movies is a movie about a ping pong player in the 1950s.
Right.
I think 10 years ago, there's no way that would have happened. But I think that, in recent years, people have started actually looking for something a little different.
Yeah.
In movies. So I do think that this, I don't know if it would have, been a blockbuster, but I think it would have done better. And I think that the studio would have been a little less reluctant to actually show what the movie is about, instead of, treating it as, well, it's a scary haunted house movie. It's like, well, it is, but there's also a lot more going on than that.
Right. And to give it its due, it is coming out at a time where I think it's that early variety period of aughts horror where, this is coming out the same year as The Witch. Now, The Witch is a micro-budgeted film, but it's causing a stir. And this is coming out the same year as The Gift, as The Invitation, although that's a Netflix thing. Blackcoat's Daughter is this year. Bone Tomahawk is this year. So it's not entirely out of the realm of it being sold. I just think for whatever reason, Universal couldn't get a handle on how to present this in a way that would really make it huge. It made money. It made its budget back and 25% more, but it wasn't a blockbuster. But you do wonder, what is the blockbuster potential of this? I think this is one of those movies that people go see and are like, this is so gorgeous, I need to tell people about it. And obviously the cult of it has grown. Otherwise, they wouldn't be making t-shirts.
Exactly.
But as I said before, studios want to be in the Guillermo Del Toro business because they're all betting at some point this guy is going to make something that's just going to either be a giant blockbuster or it's going to win an Oscar. And those things happened. They just didn't happen to Crimson Peak, unfortunately.
They should have.
Yeah, agreed. I think we might even be, I don't know. I think when I think of Crimson Peak, I don't usually think of the buffalo stuff. So when I rewatched the movie to prepare for this, I was so surprised at how much of the movie that is.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the film, and it is beautiful in its own right, and everyone's gorgeous, and the whole background is stunning, and every location is spectacular, and the costumes are beyond.
Absolutely. I think this is one of the most well-adorned films I've ever had the privilege to lay eyes on. I told Gena before we started recording, you could hook this up to an IV drip. Just stab it in my arm. It is so beautiful to look at, so well appointed, and so specific to its time period, but also nothing ever feels like, hey, that actor that you cast, he definitely is looking at their iPhone in between takes. It just doesn't. It just feels of a time, of a place. It's very committed to its own bit. And it really helps that, as Gena noted earlier, everyone is very, very attractive in this. It's hard to turn away because, even our schlubby, if you could put that in dick fingers, detective / doctor character is really hot. Like,
Charlie
it just,
Hunnam, like the hottest ever.
Yeah, it's Charlie Hunnam. Yeah, even Bern Gorham looks good in this. Everybody looks good in this.
Jim Beaver, hottest he's ever come across.
I mean, a hole in a roof looks gorgeous in this. It's unbelievable, and what I think is so special about it being this romance word always associated with it is you justify shots like upon their arrival, the fact that autumn leaves are falling in front of a lit fireplace and the most grand entry you've ever beheld. It's unreal how gorgeous it is.
And I do wonder if the unrealness of it, which is something I genuinely like, but I do feel like it is quite possible that the unrealness of it all, that the house decaying, just constantly broken down. Blood is seeping up through the door, blood in quotes, seeping up through the floors. The roof constantly dropping leaves and snow was just too much for some modern audiences. And that's fine, I guess. But to me, it just creates a time and place that you're never going to get in another movie. You're not going to find a ghost story that is produced in a modern studio fashion that is going to have this level of depth of field of everything you're looking at having so much purpose and communicating all the emotions you want as a backdrop to this very simple yet twisted romance that occurs in front of us.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's just like you don't even have to put the sound on to enjoy this movie. You just put it on and you just like fall asleep and have some really fucked up dreams.
Yes.
I need a floor plan of the house. That's the thing I kept thinking is, it takes a minute to figure out, first of all, where are you? Like, for instance, in the library scene when she's going through the gramophone, where are you? And also, why does the elevator that goes down to a basement full of pits, there are holes in a roof there, but do basements generally occur underneath the house? I need a floor plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a Shining, House of Leaves sort of Impossible House kind of layout, which is nice. And again, it's in some places it's subtle, in others it's not. Yeah, but it's always unsettling.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. This is an impossible house. It can't really exist the way it's laid out. And you're absolutely right. House of Leaves, The Shining took the words right out of my mouth. Like that is what we're going for here. And to take the words from Del Toro, like he very specifically wanted to do a movie that sort of visually name checked a couple of things that lit his fire growing up. Robert Wise's The Haunting, Jack Clayton's The Innocents, and then also to have a large scale horror movie that's in the sort of studio tradition of the 70s and early 80s that competed with the indies for horror dominance in that decade. We're talking The Omen, The Exorcist, and of course The Shining. These things that you could tell there's money behind this. We're going for a look. We're going for a feel. And I think the only difference between this movie and those is that it doesn't come from a distinct literary background. Shining, Exorcist, Omen, Innocence, Haunting are all books first that are translated to the screen. And this is rather a bouillabaisse of those things. It is taking elements, it's taking themes, it's taking vibes, and it's putting them into an original story that certainly evokes horror masters that we've talked about recently. Edgar Allan Poe, Hawthorne for sure, a dash of Sir Conan Doyle, and then, as I mentioned before, Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca. Like, these things are all in the mix. And instead of giving us a straight adaptation of any one of those things, it's more a mix of them and how they're presented and how they make you feel, rather than I'm going to make the 15th subpar version of Rebecca that's ever existed.
Oh, Rebecca's beautiful. And it is beautiful. I mean, it was so well achieved. It achieved all that. And I think that basement of the, with the clay pits very much influenced the basement that we see in Frankenstein.
Oh, yes. Yes, they're of a piece with one another. You almost wonder if the same, Gothic basement designer, because they both have a trough of liquid running down the center of it. They both have an escape hatch at one side. You can feel that bad ideas are seeping into it. From Frankenstein, it's from the attic down. And in here, the badness is seeping from the floor up. And that they're of a piece with one another. It's just really interesting that he was afforded the opportunity to sort of revisit some of these ideas. For me, this is the more successful of the two, but it doesn't have to be a horse race. I'm happy that we have both, and I'm happy that designers are still able to make the craziest, weirdest murder basement you've ever visited.
That is a super niche. I mean, a super niche.
Yes. This caught a lot of people's eyes at the time. It's released in October when you should release this kind of movie. Now, just 2 years later, this is the kind of slot that It Chapter 1 occupies to $1 billion. So it's not outside of the realm of possibility for this to do really, really well. I just think the horror audience in particular was looking to movies like Sinister as their big ticket items. They weren't quite ready for this. That being said, a man we're evoking a lot lately because it's our Stephen King season. King, a man not known to give out praise lightly. Wait a second. I'm going to check my notes. Sorry. The exact opposite.
I was going to say, need I remind you that he really enjoyed the TV adaptation of Under the Dome.
That being said, his words, I think, are accurate. He called it gorgeous and fucking terrifying. And I think that is the perfect way to distill what this movie is. It is romantically gorgeous and just sumptuous, but also it does not shy away from its horror. That stuff is very on the surface. It is very gory in a very specific way, and one that works to the story mechanics behind it. This woman has to be scared of this place, because if we don't really see it through Edith's eyes, it's going to seem fake. The only reason we really get scared is because, listen, 3 other ladies tried this and it didn't work out for them. How is it possible that she's going to find a way out of it? And I think that's where Mia Wasikowska is kind of perfect here. Yes, she's played ethereal, virginettes before, but it works better here. She has a type, and that is running through a Gothic house in a nightgown with a candelabra.
Yeah, I sort of feel like I'm not quite sure. She sort of disappeared. I feel like that Anya Taylor-Joy and she got into a Highlander type fight. And off a cliff, and Anya Taylor-Joy was victorious, because they very much have the same not of this time vibe.
Yeah, and because she's coming out of things like Jane Eyre and Stoker, which is so good. Stoker.
Yeah, I mean, Stoker is amazing.
And then she's really good in Only Lovers Left Alive, a vampire movie we didn't get to last season, but absolutely great in that as well. She's a very specific type, and I think she got a little ground up in the Alice Disney machine, where
regrettably
2 of the most unfortunate motion pictures I've ever been forced to sit through. And it's just terrible. And if that would do things to me too. That being said, I do feel like it's a Highlander situation. You're absolutely right. Only one could live for whatever reason. And nothing against Anya Taylor-Joy, but bring back my Mia is what I'm asking for. Just a little bit. I think she deserves a second act because she's really, really good in this.
Her style is so special, and it's very Australian. There's a lot of, theory about Australian actors and how they have this special skill to not kind of I hesitate to use the term overact because that's not exactly how I've heard it said, but it's something to that effect, like that American actors might show more in a more overt manner. And I think it's so true with her performance in this, because if you think of, first of all, if you were the mother that she had that died of the plague or whatever she died of, and you had a choice, you were like, I could come back and warn her looking like this, or I could just skip it and let her. I mean, maybe I'd skip it if it were.
That means it's a very singular visitation of a woman in black and a completely blackened skull. She's been in the ground for a minute and a half.
It's horrifying.
And it is completely horrifying. And yet it takes someone evoking, oh yeah, we call this a joint Crimson Peak, for her to go, oh, that's what she was warning me about.
Oh my God. But I don't know if I would choose. But then she's got vapors coming on. I mean, it's so scary. The black vapors coming off her. What a great effect that is. And I love it so much in all the different color ghosts. There are 3 colors, right? There's the black ghost of her mother, and then there's some red ghosts, and then she's a white ghost. Or
the boyfriend, Thomas, comes back as a white ghost. For reasons I'm not entirely sure why he is graced with white, other than the fact that he's just showing up in a very snowy location. I wonder if you saw him in a different light, he might be a different color. But yes, it does seem to be signaling something, but it can't possibly be innocence because Thomas has blood on his hands for a while now.
I mean, maybe he's, redeemed in the end. I'm not quite sure. That is a good question.
He can't be, though, because he doomed other souls who had their names printed on a key. I'm going to do that. I'm going to have my name put on keys to things that I use. That's a very funny little thing. But he definitely is not at all innocent. I mean, he killed the other ladies with her.
Yes. He's definitely participating in their ends. Whether or not he's the one who's always getting his hands dirty, that does seem to be Lucille's main driving force. And the thing is, Lucille's good at it. Let's give it up to Lucille. This is a lady who has murdered for a while now. And if she sucked, she wouldn't have gotten this far.
Also, she's been like she's got like a secret gym she's working out in, because she slammed that dude's face into the sink very hard several times.
That is incredible. I love the broken edge of that sink, and I also kind of love that's one of the times that I feel tethered in time. I mean, everything's very Victorian looking, and that I understand, but I'm like, where am I in time? And then I see that bathroom. And it makes me go, oh, this is the very beginning of indoor plumbing. It suddenly brings me to a time. But breaking that sink in the corner, what a brilliant, that looks so good. But she is really good at murdering, and she loves it. She really likes it. But there's some feminist stuff in there too, or the spinster sister stuff where she tries to get a little sympathy for that later. And she does live in a very mothy, decrepit hallway.
Right. It does make one wonder, what exactly are you fighting so hard to keep? Because granted, yes, if you both walked away clean, you probably wouldn't have much to show for it. But you could sell that ring and live somewhere nice for a little while, where I guess you could tell people you're not brother and sister and then try to do it that way. But yeah, she is a truly interesting conundrum. What is driving her other than the fact that she was driven insane by her parents, who both sound like real monsters? But also there's a part of her that wanted her father's approval and desperately needed her mom to know, I will take care of you. And even tells, Edith later on, I took the beatings that Thomas was supposed to take so that he could remain pure. But it changed her into a very distinct person, one who's very comfortable with death intimately and unafraid of the after effects of it. Like, she really doesn't see a ghost until the last possible second. And I find that hard to believe in that place because it seems dense, ghost dense for the most part.
Well, I mean, you have to be open to seeing them, though, too. I mean, I think the idea also is that Edith is a writer. So, writers are imaginative and she might be more open to the mysterious. Yeah. Where I think that, I don't think she gives much thought to why she kills, why she does what she does. I think it's, this is something that there's no moral aspect to it. This is what she needs to do to stay ahead of the game and to protect herself. So I think, because of that, she feels no guilt.
Yeah.
And so, that aspect of, consciousness does not allow her to sort of see the aftermath of what she's done and these tormented souls she's left in her wake.
Yeah.
It's awesome. You're going to love it.
I am
I'm going to give it to you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. If you're shopping while working, eating, or even listening to this podcast, then you know and love the thrill of the hunt. But are you getting the thrill of the best deals? Rakuten shoppers do. They get the brands they love with the most savings and cash back. And you can get it too. Start getting cash back at your favorite stores and even stack sales on top of cash back. It's easy to use and you get your cash back through PayPal or check. The idea is simple. Stores pay Rakuten for sending them shoppers, and Rakuten shares the money with you as cash back. Download the free Rakuten app and never miss a deal. Or go to Rakuten.com to start getting the most bang for your buck. That's Rakuten.
Thanks, Ashley, for being here. You are.
Now, I feel a connection to this movie in multiple ways. And Shannon, I feel that you and I might have one in particular. Now, I'll speak for myself. My mother is a character. She is one of a kind. And certainly, any sort of tangible humor I might have is directly tied to how she dealt with reality and how she talked about it. I learned sarcasm at her feet. And I feel when you have a character as a parent, it really does shape you into a specific type of person. Now, you can break that mold, you can reject things and whatnot, but I also feel like there is a gift that they're giving you and you can harness it. And I feel like one of the grand gifts you have is for storytelling and the way you talked in the past. I'm not asking you to share those stories here necessarily, but the short stories you've told me in the past about her, about how she would talk about things. It just feels like you learned at her feet and were able to shape that in a certain way and be yourself. But a character for a parent definitely makes you a type of person.
That is a true story. My mother is absolutely hilarious, and she is still to this day the funniest person that I've ever met in my life. And she will ruin anyone in a funniness contest, and it is magical. And sometimes it's a little like edgy, like she once. I am going to share a story because it's still hilarious. I was having an overreaction to thinking I was a latchkey kid. I was not a latchkey kid, you guys. My mother came home literally 15 minutes after I came home because I came home from middle school and she came home from her teaching job also at a school like 15 minutes later. So she put on a mask and from the bottom of the stairs, because I was already upstairs, went, "Shannon." So it does turn you into a special kind of lady. But I don't know. I don't know the relevance of this story at this time. Bring me back, Patrick.
I just think people get molded, right? And in terms of these two characters, Thomas is shielded from the brutality. He sees the brutality, but he doesn't feel it. Lucille has felt the brutality of her parents. Neither one of us are in the brutality business necessarily from parents, but they're still in the. You're being molded by how they deal with the world and whatnot.
Oh, so
And-
she learned her sociopathic murdering ways from her each other abusing parents.
Yes.
Well, yeah, and that also informs her relationship with Thomas because she's protective of him, she's sexually attracted to him, but also she's resentful because he was the favored child. And it is true that in a lot of families, where abuse is present, one kid tends to get a little worse than the other, for whatever reason. Either they sort of voluntarily take it on, or just because, parents are humans and, infallible, and, they take out their shit on, one particular person in the family. So, there's a lot of elements there that make this relationship so interesting, because also, she manipulates him because, he undoubtedly feels guilty about being spared of the abuse that she's gone through, but also he kind of wants to get the hell away from her too.
Yes. It's a push and pull, and he doesn't know much better. He's trying to be legitimate in some way, shape, or form. He just doesn't have the wherewithal to actually produce the results he needs to in order to revive the family clay mining name that they have. And as a result, he's always going to have to lean back on her special ability to kill the latest lady that he's brought home to steal her money.
Yeah, I want to feel bad for him, but it's hard because he is very much part of it. And also, what if you have the ability to make that little animatronic guy he made that has a little ball that he spits into a cup or whatever, don't you also have the ability to repair the effing roof?
One would think that if you have the woodworking ability to create these automatons, that yes, you could put some 2x4s up there and just seal it off in some way, shape, or form.
Surely in this era they had something like a tarp.
Yeah, just throw a little tarp on there.
Just a little tarp would go a long way in this.
I mean, maybe, does anyone have a moth ball or some sticky paper that they could put up? Is there any way that we could improve the living condition that you're subjecting your dear sister that you're so in love with to? Like, it just doesn't seem like he deserves excuses. He's a real weirdo.
Yeah.
Well, I think what makes, the scene in which he admits to Lucille that he actually does love Edith, kind of, tragic and horrifying at the same time, because like he's basically saying like, oh, we can all be together, like basically wanting to be in a polycule with his wife and his sister. And it's like, and Lucille's like, no, I don't think I want that.
I don't think I can handle that. I can handle putting a cleaver into the forehead of my mom, and I can handle putting an infant into a red clay bath in which they drown. But what I cannot do is share sex with you in this
share
way.
Him, like share his feelings.
Yeah.
Compete with another woman for genuine romantic and sexual affection.
It's pretty wild. Now, Shannon, I'm going to lean on your architectural expertise here a little bit.
Oh, I'm ready.
What would you call that room that's between a hallway and a bedroom that's just wall to wall black moths? Is that a specific thing? Like, do you have to try to make that happen? Is that just happenstance? Has any client going, you know what I need here between these two spaces? Moths and black mold.
Yes, I just need insects, just tons of insects. It's just got to be infested. You call it an infestitorium.
Yeah, okay. All right. You know what? You heard it here first, folks.
The infestitorium. We're going to get, we can do those. We can definitely do those. Those moths are those are lookers of a moths. If you have like a moth scale of beauty in moths, I would put those pretty high, because I could see their fuzziness, and I could also see kind of their antennae that looked sort of also fuzzy. Like maybe they were like comb-like, and I felt like that would be a soft fuzzy moth to hold, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
And I thought it might also be like one of those moths that's friendly enough to let you get a good Instagram shot if it's on.
Well, that's the most important aspect.
I would say so. So those seem really good to me. I just can't believe how many of them there are. And then I can't believe that of a house that appears to be of a fairly large size, that you would choose the hallway that looks like that to get to your boudoir where you do your incesting.
Yes, our secret incest room that requires lock.
Well, you got to keep it secret. I mean, what if the postman comes or something?
Do you guys think that's her own bedroom? Like, do you think that's her chambers, or do you think that's their special incest room?
I think it's a special incest room because it's a little brighter and homier than where she stabs him through the face. That to me seems like her bedroom.
And then I can't believe that I have to ask this after watching it. Now I've seen this movie probably 5 times in my life and 2 times in the last, 2 months. And I still cannot verify for myself if that baby was Enola's baby or if it was their incest baby that Enola was going to help with.
I think it's supposed to be the incest baby.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I got on like the 3rd watch. And I was like, oh, what? Because it all wasn't clicking together because, she says you're the first one he's ever slept with, or however she puts that.
Yeah. Yes, because he's been all mine up until this point. And I wanted the baby and the baby just couldn't live. And so there's an incompletedness to their union. They are family, but they can't produce a family. And so she's always going to be held off to the side, both societally and within a real functioning relationship basis, from truly being his romantic partner. And she's resentful of it. And I get it, but also, ooh, can I just say ooh? Am I allowed to say ooh these days? Or is that I'm a big, strong guy with muscles and I'm crying and I'm saying ooh to you, Gena?
You can say ooh, Patrick, but also they're really sexy.
It is very rare that you have, Jessica Chastain and Tom Hiddleston level good looking incest. That makes it a little, I'm still saying ooh, but in a kind of like, maybe ooh. I want a little more.
Yeah, that little lilting, that little upward lilting. Ooh.
This ooh better not awaken anything inside of it. Too late.
Was anyone very nervous? I was very nervous after she was listening to the gramophone recordings. I was so nervous because she leaves them. This is one of those other moments where I really needed a floor plan because she just runs down the stairs that look as if she's going right to the grand foyer, which would mean that they're just out there in the open, just for everyone to see that she had found those, was using them. But oh my God, her sitting in that window. I
mean, I think there is a level of how many times do you go to a particular room in this house? And my guess is unless you have a house guest, you're probably never going in there. Like it's not like when Lucille was in there and showing her books that she's like, I come here all the time. This is my favorite room in the house. It's kind of like, hey, you want to see some quick porn? There it is. Maybe that'll freak you out so you never come back here again.
Oh, the edge paintings. What about the pokey stabby hallway? That's like my favorite pokey stabby Victorian stabbiness. I love when that cute ghost pokes out of that closet.
I love a hallway that sort of evokes Italian Gothic horror. And this is like one of those, like this to me is the only thing that competes in the hallways of ideas with Suspiria. Suspiria has very distinct hallways.
Yes.
And I feel like that's part of the bouillabaisse he's drawing from, because there's a lot of faces sticking out from darkened corners, shit. And this hallway is built like no hallway should ever be constructed. And you have to really think about that. And I think in the hands of a lot of people, they would go, I'm going to tell you I've seen Suspiria before. And you're like, okay, I've seen Suspiria too. It's pretty cool. And I'm glad that we both like that movie. But stop reminding me of a more successful movie than what I'm currently being shown. I don't ever feel that way here. I love Rebecca. I love The Shining. I love The Haunting. and it's all those movies here are being drawn from, but it's never so heavy-handed. No, not so specific that I feel like he's just pointing at it going, I've seen movies too. They're just like, this informed me and I want this to be part of what this movie is.
He's trying to make it. It's an homage to Gothic ghost stories.
Yeah.
And one of the best. I mean, it's like so unbelievably well done. I love to think of him, though, saying, I've seen movies, too.
Well, I may have seen a few.
Yeah. I mean, that is a thing that it's hard to both wear your influences on your sleeve because we're all in conversation with art that's inspired us. Every single one of us. You know, this podcast exists because of other podcasts that have existed. Our movie opinions are shaped by other movie opinions. You know, the reason why we wanted to be in creative endeavors is because other people's creative endeavors inspired us. So it's nothing to be ashamed of or nothing wrong. It works across the board. I think where I start to grade about it is that the reference is the only thing that's being brought to the table, rather than this informed how I deal with these characters or how I present the storyline or, how this character comes across. I want them to feel like this, but within this story, it just feels like stealing rather than borrowing.
Right.
Where it's too obvious, I guess. And a movie that we recently did that felt more like stealing than borrowing was the film adaptation of Ghost Story. I hate to come back to this because we really rolled it over the coals when we talked about it. But it is really, both the novel and the film version, taking sort of its catch from the same literary waters. But, Crimson Peak doesn't need flashbacks and flash forwards in the same way that Ghost Story does. And as a result, this feels like a real story that has an A, B, C. It's a very clean line, and everything that happens around it is very twisted. Whereas Ghost Story feels like, you watched this movie, right? And they point at the movie and you're like, yeah. Now I feel like I just would rather watch that movie than Ghost Story, with the exception of the goopy ghosts. That's the only thing these two things really have in common. Really good goopy ghosts.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some superior goopy ghosts in this.
I love the way you guys were. It really does feel like you're immersed in someone's art. Definitely. Yeah. You're definitely in someone's art world. And I love the way both of you were talking about how Universal kept a light hand on him. I feel like they gave him the tools and the time, and they had confidence in what he could do. And then when it got to the marketing department, they're like, there's no one-to-one for this. It's too expensive to just treat it like it's an art house film. And it's too unique to just communicate to people that it might be something like a Sinister or an Insidious, which were the bigger, ghost sort of focused movies at the time. And the sumptuous work on display here, you got Thomas Sanders' production work, you got Kate Hawley doing the costumes here, you got David Marty doing the visual special effects. And they all designed something that totally works for a Del Toro movie, to the point where it almost defines it. Only there are some elements of this that are a direct through line to his other work. Certainly the ghosts here and the vapor trails are things that we've seen he produced, but The Orphanage. And then Pan's Labyrinth also has ghosts with seeping vapor trails, if I'm remembering that correctly. And even I think Kronos might have one that evokes this, or at least when Grandpa goes full vampire, he's practically in vaporizing ghost territory.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah.
For whatever reason, they just looked at it and they go, there's not a 1-for-1. How do we communicate what this movie is? And they did it well enough for it to earn $77 million. That's not nothing. It didn't just flop to a lame ass, 21 mil. This did some numbers. It's too good. I'm going to go with too good.
I think merges a lot of, things that, a lot of romance fans are going to come out for horror movies, and a lot of horror fans aren't going to come out for romance. And again, I think the sole exception to this, if there are vampires involved. Right. I don't know why there's that distinction, but other than that, those are two separate genres. Yeah. And again, given the success of Frankenstein, which does have some romantic element to it. I mean, yes, the relationship between Elizabeth and the creature was platonic. Yeah, but there was genuine warmth and affection there. And so I think that given how successful that turned out to be, if you put out Crimson Peak now, it would do a lot better.
Yeah, that's probably true. And the fact that I think these stars, Mia Wasikowska, notwithstanding, she's continued to work. I'm sure she could work anytime she really wants to. But in terms of like Hiddleston and in terms of Jessica Chastain, I mean, these are people who are Oscar both nominated and winning performers. And Charlie Hunnam's movie star thing didn't really quite take off, but he looks like $1 million here. Like, everyone looks good. And I think it's hopefully the cult of Crimson Peak only continues to build. I would love to be on that train. The reputation of this film is not bad. It just needs to be more ever present than it is currently. I feel like the world would benefit from watching this film more.
Yeah, I mean, I recommended it to a few people, and no one has come away saying, "Why did you make me watch that? That was terrible."
Yeah. It's awesome. You're going to love it.
I am.
I'm going to give it to you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
If you're shopping while working, eating, or even listening to this podcast, then you know and love the thrill of the hunt. But are you getting the thrill of the best deals? Rakuten shoppers do. They get the brands they love with the most savings and cash back. And you can get it too. Start getting cash back at your favorite stores and even stack sales on top of cash back. It's easy to use, and you get your cash back through PayPal or check. The idea is simple. Stores pay Rakuten for sending them shoppers, and Rakuten shares the money with you as cash back. Download the free Rakuten app and never miss a deal. Or go to Rakuten.com to start getting the most bang for your buck. That's Rakuten.
Thanks, Ashley, for being here. You are.
And I do want to get back to one thing that Shannon brought up earlier, because I do think it's important. The film doesn't just lock up a woman in a nightgown with a candelabra for the entirety of its run. The Buffalo first act, I do feel, has its own vibe to it. It's probably the most successful version of this outside of, I would put Sleepy Hollow in here. Now, the advantage Sleepy Hollow has is that it's both horror and there's an action element to that film that gives it another little piece of grit to cause people to like, I want to dig into that a little bit more. But you don't hear people talk nearly enough about Sleepy Hollow either.
No, you really don't. You really don't.
So I maybe it's just one of those things where it makes great movies. It just doesn't always make box office blockbuster movies.
I mean, the thing is, they appeal to a certain type of audience, and that certain type of audience is us. Yeah. and maybe not as many other people as we would like.
I don't know what you're talking about, Gena. We have single-handedly vaulted Hello, Mary Lou Prom Night 2 into blockbuster status. Everyone talks about it 24/7. And it's only because of our constant harping on it. This is why Mikey is on the top of everyone's lips, because we talked about it. So maybe we can do the same magic. I say this facetiously because as much as I love those movies, and their cults will grow, their cult status is not as big as it should be. And I'm not entirely sure why that is. This movie is available to rent and to own.
We can help. Don't you think we can help? I mean, I think it's for everyone who loves an antique store. I think it's for everyone who loves vintage clothes.
Yeah.
I think it's everyone who loves long-haired, gorgeous bitches fighting it out in the snow on a clay mine to the death.
Yeah.
Come on.
If you love some Del Toro jacking up of faces, you get so much of that here.
You really do.
So much of that here.
He brings it all to the table.
I definitely think that, I mean, that scene is just glorious with both of them with their long hair and the snow falling and the stakes so high and her clarifying twice that she's going to fight to the death. I mean, it's just incredible. It's a beautiful final scene.
It really is.
I guess it isn't really the final scene because then there's the weird thing where she's playing the piano as a ghost.
Yeah. But it's the denouement. It is the emotional peak of the film. And yes, I do like that she says, you're going to have to kill me because I am definitely trying to kill you twice. Like this has to be out in the open. Enough secrets between the two of us. I'm out to murderize you. So you best commence to swinging. And it's not like 5, 10, 15 seconds later that she cranks her over the head with a shovel. And the thud, Gena, at some point, this has to be another Psycho 2 reference, right?
Yeah, that's good. It's a good one. I love a good shovel death. This is a good one. And again, it's poetic because she is distracted by, a ghost.
Oh, that guy I've been sleeping with who also happens to be my brother. It's my brother who looks like the funky Phantom now. This brings up a possibility that I feel is, unfortunately, because of the film's slight disappointment at the box office, we'll never get. And that is Crimson Peak 2, in which Charlie Hunnam and Mia Wasikowska work together with Tom Hiddleston as a funky Phantom to solve other mysteries.
I think you want to contact Guillermo Del Toro and pitch this idea at him.
They don't even they have the weird out of place automobile that would just make a perfect Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah, it's the perfect Scooby mobile, right? To bring that thing around, and then they put the zombies and whatever in those buckets.
It's just, for whatever reason, Hanna-Barbera was struck gold with the first season and a half of Scooby-Doo. And they're like, listen, this has to be even more, there has to be a more successful version of this. What can we do with it? And they're like, I don't know. They go into outer space. No, they team up with a caveman. No, wait a second. A talking shark. No. It's a kid, a teenager who turns into a car. It's the Charlie Chan family. There's so many fucking versions of the Scooby-Doo setup over and over and over. Oh yeah,
again. I did a whole presentation about it for Kevin Geeks Out show some years ago on all of the many Scooby-Doo ripoffs.
I mean, if we want a t-shirt that sells exactly 4 T's, we would commission somebody to make Hanna-Barbera versions of these 3 characters.
Oh, that would be amazing. Oh my God.
Oh, I can't wait to lose money on that.
That's the best idea yet. I'm not even joking with you. That is the best idea yet.
I think that would be great. And yes, I would wear a version of it around town and everyone would go, what is that? And you know what? They'd be right to ask.
And then you'd be happy to tell them. That's the other.
Or you could say it's a Crimson Peak reference, and they'd be like, "Yeah, Crimson Peak, great movie."
It's from the Crimson Peak Saturday morning cartoon.
You guys, why is the whole village on that road after the death? I don't understand why the village is outside the gates as she and Charlie Hunnam leave.
Well, Charlie Hunnam does say when he shows up to that barn that they're like, "We're closing up for winter." He's like, "Well, I'm going to walk the 4 hours. Once the storm's over, meet me out there." And for whatever reason, everyone's like, wait a second, we're going to go out to that house? I heard they have a moth room. This I gotta see.
An infestitorium.
Yes. They're just that it's the house in town and that everyone wants to go to. It's like Willy Wonka's factory. Everyone's like, we're going to get invited in. I want to see it.
We're gonna go check out the sexy incest house.
And the basement that also has snow that comes in.
Yes. Yeah. Everything has just enough holes for snow to get all the way through. And then Lucille's like, wow, you feel a little cold. You think? There's holes everywhere in this gothic English mansion that's constantly snowing inside.
They're like, oh, the house has to scream basically when we close all the windows. And I'm like, well, wait. The house is never closed, you guys.
Yes,
you forgot. The house is never closed.
You don't even have a tarp. Nevertheless, these several tarps it would require to actually
some houses have a draft. This house is the draft.
It's really complicated to make a little automatronic man that spits, a ball into a cup. And I think that you could figure out just a few shingles. Just a couple of slate shingles. Or why don't you make some bricks out of that clay?
Yeah. I just, honestly, it's one of those things that why don't you slather the roof in the clay? It seems like you should be able to get a ladder up there. They built the roof somehow.
Couldn't you just climb that machine? Isn't it basically an escalator when you really? It probably is the patent for the escalators that we ride on today.
That's very true. But for whatever reason, they just can't bring themselves to do it. They have too many murderous machinations to write down and travel the globe collecting ladies who have just enough land to keep them moving up the industrial complex ladder. But what are you going to do? Any other elements? We've barely touched the surface, but in a certain way, I mean, the surface is the show here. I feel like there are deep emotions, there are great characters, but it is its presentation that ultimately just delivers what is a fun and romantic and devious and twisted little film to life. I feel like the details are what the movie is and the depth you find along the way.
Yeah, I mean, I describe a lot of movies we talk about here as a vibe. Yeah. This is very much a vibe. It's so sumptuous to look at, and just the production design alone is just it's just choice.
Yeah, Shannon, how about you?
Oh, I just think it is so unbelievably spectacular and the super niche of it. And I love to think of all those production designers from all the different departments hanging out together and coming up with this world and then delivering the highest level of craftsmanship in filmmaking. I mean, it is absolutely unreal, this whole thing.
It really is. It is so really, really good. I love every component of it. And I think it's really helped by having a very direct linear plot. He doesn't complicate it with a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't matter. Everything that's added to it matters. And its wrappings are perfect. And once you open the wrappings, what's inside is perfect. And if you haven't seen the film and you were waiting for somebody to yell at you for over an hour about it, congrats. This is your invitation to watch Crimson Peak. It's that good. You should just watch it. You should tell all your friends to watch it. It kind of rules.
It does, very much so.
That being said, the other thing that always rules is choosing your own deathventure. And that's where we decide of the deaths portrayed in Crimson Peak. If we were forced to die in one of those ways, which one would we choose and why? Up for bid today, we have die of black cholera. Or you can have your face bashed into a sink. Or take a hatchet to the head when you're in the bath. Or you can be poisoned to death with tea. ×3. We have multiple stabbings, including to the cheekbone. Or you can have your fingers slashed, arms stabbed, hit in the face, and then cracked over the dome with a shovel. Shannon, you're our guest, so I choose you to go first.
Oh, thank you. I would choose the stabbing that Thomas endured, which was the under the eye cheekbone stabbing. I think that seems very quick and efficient And it looks quite good with that vapor situation. So when you get to be in the other world walking around as a ghost, you get to have a really pretty vapor.
I mean, you're absolutely right. From a ghost standpoint, you look cool. I don't know if I want to go through the whole, my eye's starting to die right in front of everybody, and I also pull the knife out of my own cheekbone. That is not for me personally, but I'm not going to begrudge you at all. This is your death venture to go on.
Yep, that's my choice. I pick it 100%.
And I stand behind it. Gena, what say you?
Yeah, no, I'm taking that one too, precisely because I want to be a tragically hot ghost. I want to just stand there looking sad, and then I go solve crimes.
Yeah,
you know, I do not want the slammed into the sink. I mean, I buy that it was a quick death.
yeah.
But probably that was one of the few times I've seen a death that I had to look away. I'm like, because it is rough.
And then they go to the morgue and you see more of it. Where they're like,
what cracks me up, my favorite scene is when they're trying to figure out what happened. He's like, oh, he must have slipped. It's like, yeah, did he slip while being shot out of a cannon?
Yeah, did he slip from 10 stories up? Like, he is one step away from going through a window and hitting dick first into a pool deck. That is,
like, there is a hole where his face was.
Yes.
And they're like, well, he must have slipped on some water.
What? That was one hell of a viscous water and tile situation that's going on there. They should be sued into oblivion. This is why, for me personally, I am going with shovel to the head. Now, there's a lot of stuff that I don't like happening beforehand. I don't like hand damage. It's not for me. And I don't really care to be hit in the face with shovels, but the very satisfying conk that you hear when she makes contact between that shovel and the top of her head, the last thing that goes through her mind is, hey, wait, that's it. She's gone, baby. She's just off playing piano after that. So that's what I'm doing. I'm learning to play piano and just playing the riff from MGMT's Kids on that piano over and over for the rest of my life.
The hand damage was self-inflicted, it should be said. So you could avoid that part.
When they're in the elevator, Edith reaches out and slashes at her fingers, almost evoking the one ghost, the one goopy ghost who has a finger missing. Which I think it happens because Edith rips the ring off of her finger and takes the entire finger off. Is the evocation there? Oh yeah.
Oof.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's rough too.
That's hard
to watch.
That sucks. I don't want to catch a knife either.
But also, Patrick, another could possibly be another secret Psycho 2 reference.
1000%. If we were to talk to Del Toro, the number one thing we would talk about is, what are your feelings about Psycho 2? And I bet you he'd be a fucking chatty Cathy pulling his own string. I bet you he has opinions on opinions on opinions. But they all have to be good, because there's no way you can show up with this many references to Psycho 2 and not be a fan.
No, I agree.
Psycho 2, another movie that everyone should be watching, but they're not. That being said, what they should be watching are, for plugs, Shannon, where can people find you out there in the world and see what you're doing and what you have going on?
Oh my goodness. I think that people should find me at Instagram, the gram, as it were. Yes. And I can be found at GGEM Design, Gem Design. And that is my account. That's kind of a mixed account. It's kind of like a raccoon got into some trash and just throws all of the posts online. Just the things that I'm not even supposed to talk about on there, I talk about on there because, what are you doing with your life if you're not showing it to everybody? So at Gem Design on Instagram is, I think, my very best account. But I also, if you only want to see interior design in a very interior design presented manner, that's at Shannon Ggem Design.
Okay.
And then also the lady band is the Lake Sirens.
Yes. And people should hear you sing. You have a lovely, fantastic voice that blends so well with those other lovely, fantastic voices.
Well, thank you.
I'm truly jealous of your ability to sing. It is incredible. Gena, where can people find you on these here internets?
Well, I can't sing at all. So. But I do write about pop culture and current events on my newsletter, GenaWatchesThings.ghost.io, and you can find me on most social medias under Gena Does Things.
Do it today, people. Check it out. Don't worry, folks. You can find us on the socials. We have a Discord for you to join and talk to us. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. You can talk back to us in the comments on YouTube or Spotify. Even if you don't listen to us on YouTube, subscribe to us over there, because we can always use more subscribers to add to our numbers. And it's an easy way to get in contact with us on top of that. And let's see, we've got the t-shirt shop. We haven't talked about the t-shirt shop in a while. We've got great t-shirts up there, including our Stephen King artwork, the paperback version of our cover art, and our Nosferatu My Vital Juices t-shirt, which should be flying off the shelves. It hasn't yet, but it should be. Absolutely. And if you want us to come out with a Scooby-Doo version of Crimson Peak, what you need to do is join us over on Patreon, which helps fund the show and allow us to pay real artists to make t-shirt designs, because that's the only way that's going to happen. No one wants me to draw. These fingies only produce words. But that just about does it, folks. Don't worry. The body count will continue for myself and Gena and Shannon. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
They're all going to laugh at you.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.